All right, guys, today we are going to be checking out the Lichtlaerm Prometheus amplifier. I think I said that right, Lichtlaerm. I've had so many variations of that told to me this week, so I think I nailed it. Anyways, I want to thank Daniel from Lichtlaerm Audio for sending me the amplifier to borrow so that I can do this demo for you guys. I am being paid for this video, but that's not going to, skew my opinions of the amplifier. It's just going to up the production value of the video, which I think I did in the intro there for you. So I just, since I'm getting paid, I'm going to put more effort into production, and make the video even more enjoyable. Hard to believe I can actually make my videos more enjoyable, right? I mean, you'd think I'd win some kind of Golden Globe award by now. Just kidding. Anyways, let's get to it. So these are the settings that I am currently in with the amplifier. I'm on the bottom row, and I'm in the modern version of the high gain channel, which is channel 2. And I'm just going to show you what this sounds like. This is how it was dialed in for the intro song. So let's just hear it real quick. And I'm boosting it with the Mud Killer. And don't worry, I'll turn off the Mud Killer and show you what it sounds like without it, and then we'll do a full dial in a second. Dude, this amp freaking smokes. It sounds really good. It only took me a few minutes to get used to it. I think I got it dialed in pretty damn good. I mean, these are literally my first settings with this amplifier, and like I said, it only took me a few minutes to get it to sound this way, and it was pretty simple, You have a vintage modern switch here, so it goes from like a modern high gain mode to like a vintage mode. We'll go over that in a second. And then you have this byte switch that gives you 3 different versions, like in the middle is neutral. Over here, it's pushing a little bit of the high mids, and over here, you're pushing the higher frequencies. Honestly, it's pretty damn subtle. At least down here in my basement it is, but maybe in other settings it is less subtle. But we'll go through that in a second. So, in fact, let's just go ahead and do that now. Pretty subtle. Let's turn off the boost. Come on. There we go. I can do it. And let's see what it sounds like with the boost off. Maybe it'll be more noticeable with it off. I don't know if you heard it, but I did. I heard it more with the boost off. So while we have the boost off, let's go ahead and just dial in this channel. Let's just put everything at noon here. Everything's pretty close to noon as it is. Another thing I want to say is the quality of these knobs. I mean, you got to put a little effort into it when you turn them. They're not like real flimsy like a lot of knobs are, real loose, So you have to put your bicep into it. Yes, and you have to do the Arnold grunt when you turn it. Then you turn the knobs here. These are not made for girly men. Anyways, back to the video. So set everything at noon. Where are we at? Gain at noon. I'll do the cut at noon. We'll talk about that in a minute too. All right, so let's do a quick dial in without the boost. Dude, this thing sounds pretty damn tight without a boost, as long as you use the cut knob to your advantage. So this actually tightens up the amplifier. And I'll get into more of what this knob can do later. But what's cool is I have the gain pretty high, and it's still all usable. It doesn't get muddy. And with this cut knob and the gain knob together, you know, you can kind of adjust things accordingly and then adjust your tone stack accordingly as well. And you can get a really good sound. Let's hear that again. Yeah, that sounds really good. Now, some people have already demoed this amp with without an overdrive for the complete demo. They were mostly playing rhythms, so I totally understand that. So if you're a rhythm player only, you could probably get away without a boost with this amplifier, depending on your taste, style, pickups, and you know, your different you know, genres of music or whatnot. But it actually sounds great without a boost. The feel is really good. It's pretty responsive for a rhythm player. Now, I play leads and rhythm, so I'm definitely going to use a boost with it. But what's cool about this amp is it doesn't have to have one, depending on your playing style and your taste, like I said earlier. So, you know, so let's go ahead and do, oh, you know what? Let's just do the vintage channel real quick, too. I'll switch it to vintage. So with that channel, you definitely get less gain, so I think we'll have to pull back on the cut knob. And I already cranked the gain all the way up, so let's just see how good we can get this channel to sound without a boost. Again, we're in vintage mode. All right, so that's about as aggressive as I can get the vintage mode without a boost. I have the gain cranked, and I have the cut knob over here. So let's go ahead and engage a boost now and see how it changes the amp. I'm going to start with the mud killer, and if that's not suitable for the amp, I'll adjust the cut knob accordingly, which really does help you know, dial in the amplifier depending on what boost you have. So if you have a boost that doesn't work with this amp, before you switch boost pedals, adjust the cut knob, and it definitely makes a huge difference. So as you can see, I turned the cut knob all the way down because as I adjusted it up, it thinned out the amplifier too much in the vintage mode. So I think that sounds pretty good, you know, all things considered. You know, the vintage channel would not be something I would use very often because I'm a modern metal player, but for those who want the best of both worlds, that's why Daniel put it in there. So let's go ahead and do some vintage riffs with it and see how that sounds. Yeah, it sounds great for all the classic stuff, you know, and let me show you the difference now. I have it boosted, and I'm going to go ahead and switch from the vintage to the modern, and you'll hear how much more gain the modern channel has, or the modern mode has. Yeah, that's a lot more gain. It's almost like a whole gain stage, I would think. Now I have the gain cranked, so let's back that down and let's dial in this channel to sound great with a boost now and see how that sounds. Dude, that sounds freaking evil. Mean as hell. So, as you can see, the cut knob really makes a difference. And another thing I want to point out to you as well is this has a built-in noise gate, which I'm using. I'm bypassing my Revv G8 pedal right now, and this gate works perfect. I mean, it works really well. So let's go ahead and show you that. So I have the gain pretty high on this amp, and it should be pretty noisy, but it's not. So I'll go ahead and turn the gate knob down and show you what happens. So yeah, right there, you still hear a little hum, and that's all you're going to get, you know, so about right here is pretty good, you know, and you can turn the gate on and off, and then you also have this knob to adjust it. So it actually works really well. I really like this gate a lot. It's very effective, and it's not a gimmick like in some amplifiers. They put a gate in there and it really doesn't do much. In this one, it works really, really well. And I like the fact that you can adjust it. And I believe you can control the gate via MIDI as well as a lot of other functions on the amplifier. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that as well. This is a fully functional MIDI amplifier that you can control many different things with. These switches over here, I believe everything over here is MIDI controllable, and maybe a few other things. I haven't dug too deep into this to know exactly everything that you can control, but everything you probably want to control in this amp via MIDI can be done. Okay, so let's double check our settings on the modern mode of the high gain channel and do a couple riffs. Yeah, so if you want a chewier feel and a little bit more sag and some fullness, you want the cut knob here, depending on what boost you're using. Again, I'm using the Mud Killer. You know what? Let's switch over to the odd box, and then we'll dial it in for that, just to show you how handy this cut knob is, depending on what pedal you're using. So as you noticed, the odd box added some more low end back to the amplifier, so let's adjust the cut knob accordingly and get this thing to sound as brutal and nasty as we can with that pedal. That sounds freaking nasty. By the way, I forgot to put the picture up on the screen. I'm playing through my Mesa 212 cab with vintage 30s, and the mics are the Royer 121 and the SM57. I forgot to put that up there, but yeah, that's the cab I'm playing through for this video. I don't have you know, Daniel's speaker that he made for this. I believe it's the LFCR speaker. I don't have that yet, but I'll have it in the near future, and when I get it, I'll definitely do a demo for you guys. But that speaker is kind of meant for this amplifier, but I figured since I demo most amps on this channel through my Mesa 212 with vintage 30s, I would just stay consistent and do that for this video so you guys have something to compare it to. I will be shooting it out with other amplifiers in the near future with the same cab, you know, and I will also demo it through some other cabs if you want me to as well. And Daniel's such a cool guy. He told me I can go ahead and profile it for KEMPER, Quad Cortex, and ToneX, so be sure to stay tuned to the channel for those announcements because I will definitely be doing that. Anyways, I do like how this sounds with either pedal because, again, you can dial the amp in accordingly, and I love that cut knob for that reason. You know, it really allows you to adjust the amp to the pedal. All right, so now that we have the amplifier, thanks to the cut knob, dialed in properly for the odd box pedal, let's do some of my riffs with it and just see what it sounds like. Yeah, it still remains very articulate, so all of the gain is usable. I mean, I'd probably have it here for rhythms and here for leads, but I could probably find a happy medium right there for both and be just fine with that if I was recording or performing live. So I do like the fact that all of the gain is usable. And that's one of the things that I worry about when I'm trying out new amplifiers. First of all, does it have enough gain for me? And secondly, what's the gain structure like? Does it get muddy at a certain point? You know, I hate that when I get an amplifier and I'm like, well, I'm at noon, I still need more gain, and I put it up to 3 o'clock and all of a sudden it's just mud. And I'm like, well, that's enough gain for me, but I just lost all my clarity and it just sounds like a mess now. So with this amplifier, that is absolutely not the case. You can crank it all the way up and it still remains very articulate. So let's switch gears now and check out the clean channel. I want to see if it's really a nice clean channel or if it's just an afterthought. So let's find out together, shall we? Sounds really good. So let's go through some of the settings. Looks like everything's pretty much at noon. There's a brilliant warm switch here. It's on brilliant right now. So let's just try this switch and see what it does. I think it just darkens it up for single coil pickups and stuff like that on the warm setting. And if you have like what I have, you want the brilliant setting. So here we go. Yeah, that's pretty much what it does. So let's dial in this channel and get the best out of it. Dude, this channel sounds really good. So let's turn on the Julia chorus and my flashback 2 dress it up and see what it sounds like. All right, it's a little bassy, so where's the bass at? Let's turn the bass down a little bit and see what it sounds like. So yes, the clean channel is excellent on this amp. It's not an afterthought at all. It's very good. It's chimey, it's warm, it's full. And when you dress it up with some chorus and delay, it sounds freaking amazing. And it's always such a relief, right? When you get an amp and there's not a channel on here that doesn't work for you. You know, like there's some people that are like, oh, the high gain channel on this amp's amazing, but the clean channel sucks, you know? On this amplifier, both channels are amazing. And depending on what you want in the high gain channel, you can have the, you know, the vintage mode or the modern mode. I prefer the modern mode, like I said, but hey, every once in a while I like to get my 80s shred on, and the vintage channel is really good for that. So now that I have this amp dialed in even further, and I'm using the odd box, unlike the Mud Killer like I used in the intro video, I'm going to do another mix for you guys now just to hear how it sounds with different settings and with the odd box. By the way, this is the EL34/KT88 version, just so you know, in case people are wondering. I guess that's their standard in these amplifiers. I just reached out to Daniel and asked him which one I got, and he said that's the one. So anyways, for those who are wondering, that's what it is. And yeah, this amplifier really had a lot of buzz at NAMM this year, and I was really curious about how it would sound, because I've always heard great things about Daniel's pedals. I've never played any. I plan to in the future, but I've always heard good things about them. And this amp had a ton of great you know, reviews and a lot of great press at NAMM, and I was like, I have to try this, you know. And they're beautiful amps too. I mean, you got the nice wooden front. I know the camera's not showing everything, but you saw it in the intro. Very, very cool. You can pick your ToneX colors. You can pick your wood colors. You could pick many, many things on this amplifier. In fact, rumor has it, one other channel, Sonic Drive Studios, he chose to have his amp built out of actual red velvet cake with frosting and everything. So that was kind of interesting. In fact, I think he named it Diabetes or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, I watched John's video on his amp, and it sounded amazing in his video. So yeah, so everything that people are saying about this amplifier regarding how good it sounds, how good the feel is, and the features and everything else, and the quality is true. It's really a great amp, and it lives up to all of the hype. And I don't feel like it's overhyped at all. I really don't. I really feel like this amplifier delivers on every level. I mean, it sounds amazing, it looks amazing, and you have a great feel on it as well. I mean, I'm a big feel guy. If I plug into an amplifier and it feels sluggish or too stiff, or you know, that nice little bit of chewiness or sag isn't there, I start kind of pulling back on my playing, and I start getting insecure and not wanting to do anything. But this amplifier was super easy to acclimate to. In fact, I didn't have to acclimate to it. I plugged into it and immediately it felt great to play through. And as you can see, I mean, it didn't take me long to get a good tone out of it. And again, I really like the fact that this cut knob here, let me switch to it. I mean, no matter what boost pedal you have on your pedal board, you can adjust this cut knob to suit that boost pedal much easier than, you know, going out and buying another boost pedal. And I proved that between the Mud Killer and the Oddbox. Those are two very different pedals, and there's probably exceptions to that. I don't know. I haven't tried every boost pedal with it, but I know that it adjusted very well to either one of those boost pedals, and they're quite a bit different from each other. So that's really cool as well. And one more thing I wanted to mention with this amplifier that I won't be demoing in this video. Maybe I'll demo it down the road, we'll see. But you can defeat the whole preamp section on this amplifier, and you could plug in like preamp pedals and stuff like that to it and just use the power amp section, so you can have like another additional channel or whatever on the amplifier, and just by, you know, hitting that defeat switch. And I think you can defeat it through MIDI as well. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think you can. And I think you can also, I mean, in theory, I think you can hook a modeler up to it, you know, like maybe your quad Cortex, just take a DI capture, and then you can run that through this as well as another channel or whatever. So like you can hook up something like a quad Cortex and 4-cable method, all right, and use that for all your effects and switching and all that, right? And then you also have maybe another capture of another amplifier that you want to run through this, and use that as another channel, you know, and just make sure it's a DI capture though, with no cab involved, and then you'll have that as well. So I think that just adds to the flexibility, and to my knowledge, this is the only amp on the market that allows you to do that. So I really think that that's an amazing feature for you, and it would come in handy down the road depending on what kind of setup and configuration that you have. At least it leaves room for growth when you want to incorporate it with other gear in your collection. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it informative. Thanks so much for watching. And yes, again, there will be presets and profiles through Quad Cortex and ToneX, at least. I know that will be the fact. And if I have time, I'll do it with KEMPER as well. And they'll be available on my website, which is linked in the description below. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be releasing those very soon. Thank you so much, Daniel from Lichtlaerm Audio, for trusting me with this demo. I really appreciate it. It was an honor to be one of the first guys to check out this amplifier. It really means a lot for me and my audience and my channel, of course. And for what it's worth, I definitely recommend this amplifier. I think it's really freaking good. To all my Patreon supporters and subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel, and if you like what I do here, which is basically give you honest and fair reviews and demos of all kinds of gear, and I give you unprocessed audio on your end, feel free to subscribe and click the bell so that you don't miss upcoming episodes or live streams. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.